guys, welcome back to Uber Eats Hustle. This is David here with a video today about some things that I really wish I'd known before I started driving for Uber Eats. And before you think this is going to be some kind of a video of regrets about choosing to get into this, that's not it at all. These are just a few things that I wish I maybe had a little bit more information about or had taken the time to think about more clearly before starting to work Uber Eats the way that I initially did. So with that out of the way, let's jump right in. You work in logistics, not in customer service. You know, when I first started doing Uber Eats, it was because UberX was a little slow and I wanted to be able to make some money in the downtime. So I sort of treated Uber Eats the same way that I treated UberX, which was as a very highly customer focused gig. I was over communicating a little bit in text messages, which is actually something I talked about in my most recent video. I was having restaurants open up sealed bags in front of me just to verify that every single item was there. I was basically taking a whole lot of extra time and using a lot of extra effort just to make sure that everything about every single order was 100% perfect. After having done Uber Eats for a couple of years, pretty close to full time for the last year, it's pretty safe to say that that is not the right approach to this particular gig. Food delivery is fundamentally different from passenger transport. With passenger transport, you are getting to know that person over a period of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, however long that trip is. You're having an interaction. They're asking you questions about, what you do outside of Uber, where you're from. You're reciprocating, you're having a conversation, getting to know each other. It's a very different interaction from a delivery. A customer ordering delivery is not up for a conversation. That customer says, I'm hungry, I want food, I'm ordering food, please let me know when the food's here. Efficiency and product integrity are the primary things that matter. Be nice, be informative, be professional and friendly, but don't over communicate. Keep it very professional, friendly, and concise. Make sure they get their stuff as timely and efficiently as possible. If the bag is open, sure, go ahead and check and make sure that all the items are correct. Look and see if there's any drinks on the order. You don't want to miss those. But if a restaurant hands you a sealed bag and says everything is inside, trust that restaurant. That seal on the bag and the little receipt on the outside with the check marks on it means that they checked it. It's not your responsibility at this point. If anything is missing from that order, they have the ability to contact customer service and get those items refunded. So yes, go to reasonable lengths to make sure their order is correct and they're informed, but your primary job is as a delivery driver. You have more in common with FedEx or UPS than you do with working at a restaurant. Ultimately, this customer sees you as a service provider they are paying to do a job for them. They don't see you as their friend. There's no reason to necessarily act like their friend. Be professional, friendly, and concise, and get their stuff to them as quickly as possible, undamaged. The second major thing I wish that I had known when I started Uber Eats is that it's okay to cancel an order. It's not a big deal. Yes, you do want to complete the vast majority of orders that you accept, but don't be afraid to cancel an order if a customer is being rude, belligerent, if the order has instructions that are outlandish or beyond reasonable, or even if the wait at the restaurant is excessively long. If it's only a 5 to 10 minute wait and it's a good payout on the order, absolutely stick around, wait for that order. But if you get to the restaurant and they're swamped and they tell you it's gonna be 20 or 30 minutes, move on. You are burning time and burning money. There is no reason for you to hang out waiting for an order for that long. The third thing I wish I'd known before I started is how big of an obstacle parking was going to be. Yes, this depends on the type of area that you like to work in. However, if you've seen any of my past videos, you know that I definitely recommend working in dense urban areas with lots of restaurants, lots of apartments, and high dollar neighborhoods, which means parking is going to be a challenge for you on a regular basis if you're working in those places. Two major things I suggest. One is get very comfortable with parallel parking. You're going to need to do it a lot. Second, pay attention to the parking situation at any apartment buildings you deliver to or any restaurants you pick up in an area where parking is super limited. Just keep your eyes peeled for where spots may be that look empty, that people may not typically see. Take note of which restaurants have valet parking, and if they do, just get comfortable talking to the valet person. Pull up and say, hi, I'm just here to pick up a to-go order. Where can I park for 5 minutes? I guarantee you almost every single time, they'll just point you to a spot nearby and say, oh, park right there. The fourth thing that I wish I'd known before I started delivering for Uber Eats is to set aside 10% of my earnings to pay for vehicle related expenses. Now, this is aside from any car payment you may have. This is aside from paying for gas. I'm talking about things like tires, oil changes, other basic maintenance, any repairs that need to be done. And the way to think about this when you're doing Uber Eats or a delivery service full time is that your car is your primary source of income. If something goes wrong with your car, any time that it's in the shop is time that you are unable to go work. I don't know about you, but to me, that's time I want to minimize. And you definitely don't want something to go seriously wrong with your car and you not have the funds to pay for it to get back on the road as quickly as possible. If you have another job and this is just your fun money, okay, not a huge hassle. But if Uber Eats is your primary source of income, you definitely do not want to be caught in a position where you can't afford to go to work. So make sure you set that money aside. The fifth thing that I wish I'd known before I started driving for Uber Eats is to get some exercise on a regular basis. A gig like Uber Eats is an extremely sedentary way to make money. Yes, you are getting out of the car when you go to restaurants and when you drop off at apartments and houses, but you spend the vast majority of your day sitting in the car, which is not a natural position for us to sit in anyway. So in order to avoid back problems, muscle issues, weight gain, all those things that can come along with an extremely sedentary job, it's really important to make sure that you're getting at least some physical exercise. I am definitely not a personal trainer or a dietitian, and I'm not going to recommend anything specific, but just find some time in your day 4 or 5 days a week to move your body for a little while. You are definitely going to thank yourself. The sixth thing that I wish I knew before starting to drive for Uber Eats is that it can be pretty isolating. Think about it. You're in the car by yourself all day long. Yes, you're interacting with people at restaurants and the occasional customer who actually wants to meet you at the door, but that's just a few brief seconds here and there in the course of a very long day that you spend pretty much entirely by yourself. The couple of tips that I've learned to deal with this are, one, to just call somebody every once in a while. If you have Bluetooth in your car, go ahead and use your Bluetooth to call your significant other, your parent, your best friend, whatever. Just call, not even for a long conversation, just 10 minutes here and there. The thing that's probably helped me the most is I consume an insane number of podcasts. I listen to podcasts all day in the car. I hardly ever listen to music. I learn about all kinds of interesting things. I listen to really tough investigative journalism, interviews with all kinds of different guests. I just listen to a ton of podcasts. And just having that conversation going on all day long kind of helps deal with some of that sense of isolation that you get when you're in the car by yourself all day. Finally, the last thing that I wish I knew before I started Uber Eats is that Uber Eats is what you make it. And what I mean by this is that there are many, many things in your control when you're driving for Uber Eats. You can control when and where you work. You can control what you listen to all day long. You get to control when you take breaks, whether or not you accept an order. There really is a lot that you can control about your workday, and the freedom is one of the primary reasons that people do this. Just keep in mind that when you're making all these decisions, especially ones about when and where to work, that they can have a real impact on your earnings. That said, you're the ultimate decider of what happens during your workday. Well, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy these videos and you get some good information out of them, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if you like this video in particular, go ahead and press the like button. It helps it get seen by more people and to grow the audience of this YouTube channel. I really appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great day. I'll see you next time.